All right, it's time to give a huge shout out to the sponsor of today's episode, happyhippo.com. So if you guys haven't checked this out, you got to go to happyhippo.com because they have some of the highest quality kratom products that I've ever come across. And if you guys aren't familiar with what kratom is, it's an herbal substance that has many different uses, everything from a balanced mind to energy. It can help you relax. And my wife and I, over the last couple of weeks, have tried out some of their products. And I have to say, it has improved her sleep specifically. She's very anxious and her mind runs at night, and it has helped her fall asleep and stay asleep. She actually was using one of the powders that comes in a pouch from Happy Hippo and just dropped it into her water, and off she went, and she was just she was very happy. Let me just put it that way. And so myself, during the workday, if you guys didn't know, I have a big boy job. I work in contract management, and I need that balance. I need the energy during the day, and they have something called Hyper Hippo and an energy shot. Those energy shots come in those little tiny bottles. You guys are familiar with it from other brands that use that type of packaging, but there's nothing like this, all right? This energy shot, I take it, easy to take, and within minutes, I feel the effects. There's no massive crash after I take it either, which is a huge deal, right? How many energy drinks have you taken and coffee have you drank throughout the day that just leads to the massive crash? Well, this doesn't, and it's an all-natural herb. And I'm telling you right now, it will help you get through your day. It can help you relax, depending on the type of product you're looking for. Happy Hippo delivers. And guess what? Right now, if you have an order of 200 or more, you can get free next day FedEx shipping. And also, their stuff tastes great. So check out happyhippo.com. Support the WWE podcast and Happy Hippo. And do yourself a favor as well, guys. I'm telling you right now, if it can help my wife go to sleep, for somebody as anxious as she is and as somebody that needs as much energy as I do during the day to do this podcast and to do my job during the day. And right now, you can save 15% on your entire order by using promo code WWE15. That's right, WWE15 will get you 15% off of your entire order. And starting August 28th, they are having their largest sale of the year on their Hyper Hippo product, 40% off. So you'll definitely want to check them out then. But anytime you can use WWE15 as your promo code to get 15% off your entire order. Check out happyhippo.com, whether you're trying to relax or whether you need energy or balance during the day. Happyhippo.com.
This is WWE superstar Drew McIntyre, and you're listening to the WWE Podcast.
The champ is the one that everybody wants, me. It's going to WrestleMania. Claymore! Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass. This is my iron. You're going to acknowledge me.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Monday Night Raw and Mailbag combo show here on Wednesday, August 23rd, 2023. Hope all of you are doing well and welcome to the show. This is a unique show in that I'm going to be doing an abbreviated version of two shows. So not only are you getting an abbreviated version of Raw and Mailbag, but you're also only getting one episode. So that's the best I can do. I got to say that this is, again, I want to be able to continue to connect with you guys, and even though I'm on vacation, this is something I love. So hopefully you guys are also doing well, and maybe you're also on vacation. If you are, well, enjoy it, because Labor Day is coming up, which means the end of summer and school starting and all that fun stuff in the NFL. By the way, quick shout out to our good friends over at Football Function. And they are going to be ramping up. They're already ramping up their shows in preparation for the NFL season. So you're going to want to check them out. It's called Football Function. Our very own Michael Ritter, who covers SmackDown every single week, is the host of the Football Function podcast. So definitely give them a listen. They're awesome. So check them out everywhere the podcasts are available. And let's dive into it. Let's go Monday Night Raw. We'll start there, and then I'll get to as many emails and voicemails as I can. I can't promise that I'll get to everyone. I normally do every week, but this is a kind of an odd week, and I'll do the best that I can. So Let's talk Monday Night Raw, guys. And first of all, the rumors are swirling that Kevin Owens is injured again, okay? Well, actually, let me say this. Before I start there is other news. Terry Funk, as I just learned, has died at the age of 79. Obviously still, not a spring chicken, but not an old man. He had been battling Parkinson's and dementia in recent years, those are always a sad combination, no doubt. I mean, those two diseases affect a lot of us. And, Terry Funk, for those of you that are not, very privy to Terry Funk's career and what he meant, I would highly recommend that you just go back and take a look. I know we have a lot of younger fans. Just I'm telling you, do a YouTube of him. If anything else, YouTube Terry Funk highlights, and you'll realize quickly what he meant to the industry. Mick Foley did tweet, he said, "Terry Funk is gone. I just talked to Terry's daughter, Brandy, who gave me the awful news. He was my mentor, my idol, one of my closest friends. He was the greatest wrestler I ever saw. If you get a chance, look up a Terry Funk match or a Terry Funk promo and give thanks." So, obviously, Mick Foley and Terry Funk, he actually came in as Chainsaw Charlie at one point in the 90s in WWE, late 90s. But anyway, so Terry Funk has passed, 79 years old. And, thoughts and prayers to his family and friends, as we all, those of us that are close to him obviously have a much more emotional tie. But even if you're part of the wrestling community, it still is a sad time. So, okay. Let's go into something less important, but still more fun nonetheless to talk about, and that is Monday Night Raw. And this took place from Quebec City. And Sami Zayn came out, and my God, did he get an entrance. I mean, the entrance, or at least the pop he got, it, at least for one night anyway, gave him back that mojo that he lost since he lost to Roman Reigns back at Elimination Chamber in February. At least for a night, it felt like he got something back, okay? At least for a night. And it made you long for the days of him in the bloodline and wondering if he could actually beat Roman and all that. So, but he got a hell of a reception from the Quebec City crowd. And, he said, what did he say here? He came out and said he only had one question. He spoke in French. And he said, "Do you really think I came here, of all places, alone?" That's when Kevin Owens came out. Another massive reaction. And then Dom dropped off the apron and met Owens at ringside after the Judgment Day had surrounded the ring with Sami. Of course, that's when Sami said, "Oh, you think I'm alone?" Kevin comes out. And that's when Owens destroyed Dom. Balor ran the ropes. Inside the ring, he was tripped by Owens, who pulled him to the floor. Priest tried to choke slam Zayn. He slipped away, and then Owens put Priest down with a stunner. And Zayn picked up the mic and handed it to Owens. And Owens said, "It's been far too long since I've had a match on Raw." And he proposed a match against any two members of the Judgment Day. And Owens then spoke in French and tossed the mic aside. So the crowd clearly made this segment that would otherwise have been in the United States it would have been a fun segment to see Kevin Owens come out, but of course being in Quebec City made it all the more special. No doubt about it. All right. Then we get a New Day coming out, New Day entrance coming out, and they came out for the match against Drew and Riddle. And, okay, this match with Kofi and Xavier, they defeated Drew and Riddle in 9 minutes and 30 seconds, okay? It was because the Viking Raiders interfered. They pulled McIntyre off the apron. Kofi tagged in and hit Riddle with Trouble in Paradise, which led to the pinfall. So, this is kind of a split decision for me, because I don't like the New Day in any form or fashion. Obviously, you guys know how I feel about them. They are, to me, an absolute disgrace, but that's how I feel. Okay, many of you don't feel that way. I just, they are what they are. I'm kind of tired of beating them down verbally. But that's how I feel every time I see them. That said, it is, I guess, encouraging if you want to see Drew McIntyre turn heel. It could be encouraging that his tag team partner loses and therefore he gets frustrated and eventually snaps on Riddle. That could be the case. However, it was also because of the interference from the Viking Raiders that this happened. So with that said, I think right now we're still in a waiting period for Drew to turn heel. And it's Drew and Riddle versus the Viking Raiders, which, let's be honest with one another, is beneath Drew. It just is. It's beneath what Drew is capable of and where he should be right now. All right. Let's see. We got a footage of earlier today with Gunther delivering a promo about his title defense with Chad Gable, and Gunther said he respects Gable's accomplishments, but he won't make a name for himself at Gunther's expense. Gunther said Gable's fairy tale story would end tonight, and then Byron spoke with Gable, Otis, and Maxine on the interview set, and Gable said there's only one thing left to say. He did his thank you bit and head to the ring. They also heavily hyped John Cena's appearance on September 1st, and this is leading apparently to a match on September 8th in India. Okay, so who he's going to face will be known this coming week. I would imagine it's not going to be anybody that is, of megastar caliber. But John Cena returning with only a couple of weeks promo is interesting. It's usually they'd let you know, a month or so in advance. This does seem like it's short notice, but it is still going to absolutely, spike ratings with John Cena there. And it is interesting to see who he's going to confront or who's going to confront him. All right, so Gunther came out. It's time for the Intercontinental Championship match. What a great match. I mean, this match, which, by the way, got excellent ratings, and it's deserving of that. Gable has shown you time and again, and Gunther continues to as well. This is not a slight on Gunther by any stretch of the imagination. Gunther is and always has been a solid to great in-ring presence and wrestler. Okay, he just has, and that's not what's in question. What's in question is Gable, who has been relegated to a comedy role. Can he rise to the occasion, which would be and has been his biggest match to date here with Gunther in the Intercontinental Championship match. This was awesome, and it really made you wonder if Gunther could beat Gable. And Gable hit it's kind of like I don't know what you call it. Forgive me. It's kind of a stalling over the head, a German suplex that he does. It's absolutely amazing. And for him to be able to even kind of pull it off with Gunther is just downright crazy. And, given the size difference and weight differential. This is awesome. Chant broke out. Gable went to the ropes. Gunther shoved him to the floor. He went to ringside and hit Gable with a big boot and chops. Gable avoided the chop and caused Gunther to chop the ring post. And then Gable suplexed Gunther into the timekeeper area. But what happened here was interesting because Gunther lost, but it was only because of a countout that he lost. So Gable beating Gunther does mean that he's the first person to beat Gunther in a singles match since he arrived on the scene, quote unquote, a year and a half ago. And so sure, he could say he has an L on the record, but now he can trim it down to, all right, well, he's not undefeated, but he's never been pinned or submitted. So there is that caveat that to me is more important than being completely undefeated. But it does show you that for Gable to put this on his resume, for WWE to allow Gable to put this on his resume, for Gunther, who they're viewing as a future world champion, future WrestleMania main eventer, a guy that they're potentially putting with Brock Lesnar this WrestleMania at WrestleMania 40, or potentially a guy that could beat Roman Reigns for the Universal title. This is a hell of an accomplishment for Gable. Easily his biggest match and biggest night of his career that happened Monday night. So awesome. I mean, and it looks like this is going to continue. I would imagine that given the finish, these two are not done with one another, and I really hope that that's the case. I really do. This was a lot of fun. As the crowd said, this is awesome. All right. So Cody Rhodes was then, there's a whole bunch of Finn. Okay. I don't want to brush over the Judgment Day stuff, but it's been kind of rehashed of Finn and Damian having tension, not tension. Rhea saying, we're done with this. I thought you guys buried the hatchet. We've seen this, I feel like, for 6 weeks. We buried the hatchet. We didn't bury the hatchet. We buried the hatchet. It sounds like I'm complaining, and I guess I am a little bit, but I'm not brushing over it. It's just, I don't know if I even need to mention it because it's the same thing every week with this. And we're all waiting to see Finn and Damian go at it. That said, the more important segment here was Cody Rhodes coming out. He's talking with Byron, and then he was interviewed by him, and Cody took issue with Finn sitting on him like, quote, a piece of furniture. He also mentioned that J.D. McDonald's head on his little body makes him look like Funko Pop. I don't know what the hell that is, by the way. I don't have a clue. And then Cody said that this setting isn't working. And he said that he wanted to go see some of his friends, and it made me want to vomit. That's my words. Saxon said Cody asked Quebec in French what they wanted to talk about. Saxton asked Cody what he wanted to talk about. And, okay, before we get to that, he's still going with this. Cody is dead set on making what do you want to talk about a thing. And I think he's made it happen as well as it's going to happen. Okay, people aren't chanting this. This is I don't understand. Well, I do understand why the crowd was excited to hear him say it on Raw, because he spoke in French. That's the only reason he got the reaction he did when he said it. They're like, woohoo, they're speaking my language. They're speaking our native language, right? That's it. That's the big reaction. He could have said anything in French as long as he spoke French, the native tongue of Canada, right? So that's the biggest reason that they popped. And yeah, but whatever. Cody said it was like a JBL show reunion, and gave the shout out to the Cowboy. That was weird. He then spoke about how Judgment Day has the numbers game on their side and said you have to respect it. No, you don't. I'm sitting there like, yo, Cody. No, that's actually not what you respect. You don't respect the numbers game. You don't respect when it's a 4-on-1 situation. In fact, that is the opposite of respecting a faction, right? Like, not anyway. He's respecting the very thing that makes them partially heel. I mean, whatever. So let's see here. He said that Cody said if there's one place where the numbers don't matter, it's down the road from where Kevin and Sami grew up. Now, how the hell that makes sense, I don't know. Apparently, the location negates the numbers game. Whatever. Cody then played up that he would be in the corner of Owens and Zayn during the main event, and we would watch the Judgment Day rise and fall. So Cody trying to, get the rub of the Kevin and Sami hometown crowd by saying he's on their side. The more I see Cody every week, the more I do kind of turn against his babyface character. And the more that I hear it, the more that I see him as a babyface. He's done a great job. If you like this sort of pandering thing, I don't. It's always been a massive turnoff for me. When he's like, come on, let's go through the backstage area. I want to see some of my friends. Calling, 20,000 people all his friends. Stop it. And then trying to use French to get cheers and talk about how he's going to be on the hometown boys' side. Bro, stop. I mean, I don't. It's now the crowd will continue to cheer. There's no talking them out of that. I understand that. And many of you are like, well, that's what a babyface is supposed to do. Let me ask you this. Did Stone Cold Steve Austin, outside of asking the crowd to participate in a hell yeah, ever pander to the crowd? Never. Show me one instance in which Stone Cold Steve Austin pandered to the crowd. Okay? The Rock did mention the name of the city in his beginning, right? Like, finally, The Rock has come back to X city. That's a great intro line, right? Cody's is not. It's not sing-alongable. And he's just, I don't know, it's just the best way to put it is just produced. And he's so self-aware of how he looks all the time. And it's, I know that that's the way most of the guys and gals think, but it comes across on screen almost as if you can see how he's seeing himself, if that makes sense. So the pandering, though, to the audience is just it's over the top for me. It's too much. It's too much. And as the weeks go by, I'm turning more and more on Cody from a babyface perspective, okay? That's all. It's not from a perspective of, oh my God, he's terrible, he should be off the roster, he should be fired, no. I have no problem with the position he's in. I have a problem with the role he's playing. And that's all. Just I'm starting to turn on him. I was softening up a little bit, and then he does this stuff that, makes me want to vomit. And that's just, again, I don't know if it's a bug or a flaw, or rather a feature or a flaw, rather, in my personality, but I'll let you decide that. All right, let's take another break for the sponsor of today's episode, Happy Hippo, guys, and we will be right back. All right, it's time to give a huge shout out to the sponsor of today's episode, happyhippo.com. So if you guys haven't checked this out, you got to go to happyhippo.com because they have some of the highest quality kratom products that I've ever come across. And if you guys aren't familiar with what kratom is, it's an herbal substance that has many different uses, everything from a balanced mind to energy. It can help you relax. And my wife and I, over the last couple of weeks, have tried out some of their products. And I have to say, it has improved her sleep specifically. She's very anxious and her mind runs at night, and it has helped her fall asleep and stay asleep. She actually was using one of the powders that comes in a pouch from Happy Hippo and just dropped it into her water, and off she went, and she was just she was very happy. Let me just put it that way. And so myself, during the workday, if you guys didn't know, I have a big boy job. I work in contract management, and I need that balance. I need the energy during the day, and they have something called Hyper Hippo and an energy shot. And those energy shots come in those little tiny bottles. You guys are familiar with it from other brands that use that type of packaging, but there's nothing like this, all right? This energy shot, I take it, easy to take, and within minutes, I feel the effects. There's no massive crash after I take it either, which is a huge deal, right? How many energy drinks have you taken and coffee have you drank throughout the day that just leads to the massive crash? Well, this doesn't, and it's an all-natural herb. And I'm telling you right now, it will help you get through your day. It can help you relax, depending on the type of product you're looking for. Happy Hippo delivers. And guess what? Right now, if you have an order of 200 or more, you can get free next day FedEx shipping. And also, their stuff tastes great. So check out happyhippo.com. Support the WWE podcast and Happy Hippo. And do yourself a favor as well, guys. I'm telling you right now, if it can help my wife go to sleep, for somebody as anxious as she is and as somebody that needs as much energy as I do during the day to do this podcast and to do my job during the day. And right now, you can save 15% on your entire order by using promo code WWE15. That's right, WWE15 will get you 15% off of your entire order. And starting August 28th, they are having their largest sale of the year on their Hyper Hippo product, 40% off. So you'll definitely want to check them out then. But anytime you can use WWE15 as your promo code to get 15% off your entire order. Check out happyhippo.com, whether you're trying to relax or whether you need energy or balance during the day. Happyhippo.com. All right, let's get back to more of Monday Night Raw, and then we'll get to some mailbag questions. Let's see here, guys. I know I'm going a little bit fast here. So Nakamura's segment was awesome. All right, easily the best promo he's ever cut. Now, I'm happy they did subtitles. I feel like someone's watching this show or listening to it because, I've said I'd at least accept even subtitles, and we got subtitles. All right, we got subtitles, which was, I think, one of the best decisions WWE has ever made in terms of Nakamura's career. All right, because they gave him the most relevant night he has had, perhaps ever. I know he main evented with AJ Styles, but after that, he essentially went into oblivion. Okay, then the low blow and all that. Like, he's essentially been a non-factor from a main event perspective for a long time. The camera work, it makes you really wish Shinsuke could speak all of these things very eloquently in English, what the content of this promo was, and focusing on Rollins' back and how he may be a champion, but at what price, and talking about how he's not able to hug his wife, or when he does, he's still in pain. When he picks up his kids, he's still in pain. And then Rollins did in kind say, yeah, I have fractured lumbar in my back, which I did not know, but I do believe is true. And he's been living with it for 4 years. And eventually he's going to have to get surgery, you would imagine, and take a significant amount of time off. This is an excellent storyline. Excellent. It's better than I could have imagined it would be, simply because of this promo and this piece of information that we were given, which has been confirmed with the injury. And it also makes you really believe, not just in story, but in real life, that he could be taking time off to nurse this injury, get it healed, get it fixed, go under the knife. And it does make you go, well, yeah, how long is this run going to last with Rollins being overexposed, working matches, match after match, being overworked? How long is this dude going to last before he has to take a, 6 month or 8 month or year long time frame off, right? So this was excellent. It really, and the line at the end of Nakamura saying, watch your back, just awesome. This was an A+ promo. And I can't imagine, if you had told me that I would ever call a promo that has subtitles A+, I would never believe you, and here we are. This was an A+ promo that has subtitles. It was brilliant. I loved it. I loved everything about it. So, all right, moving on. All right, again, I know I'm going through here a little bit quick. The team recapped Austin Theory beating LA Knight thanks to a Miz distraction. Then the Miz came out, and let's see. The Miz stood in the ring and told the crowd that Maurice is from Montreal and would never come to Quebec City. Miz said all the people will remember him 20 years from now as a game changer and a trendsetter. He said 20 years from now, people will remember LA Knight as a blip on the radar, and he's the hoobastank of WWE. Wow, the hoobastank. That's how you know that you are a millennial. Those of you that know the band Hoobastank, the only song I think they have is called The Reason. That's it. So, yeah, one-hit wonder. Let's see. So, Miz said Adam Pearce let him handpick his opponent. It was someone bigger, stronger, and faster than anyone Knight has faced. And as Akira Tozawa came out. So, it was Akira Tozawa versus The Miz. And Akira Tozawa beat The Miz in roughly 7 minutes. And it was because Tozawa sent Miz to the ring. And then Miz put his knees up after Tozawa went to the top rope. Miz looked at Knight, who had come out, and mocked him while he was setting up for his finish. And Tozawa hooked the Miz into a pin to get the 3 count. So Knight was also on commentary in this match, and he mocked the Miz for recalling the Attitude Era when he was a background singer for John Cena and The Rock, which was true, which is exactly what he should bring up. The Miz always talks about how I've main evented WrestleMania. It's like, yeah, you have, bro, but no one remembers. Why? Because you were the third wheel as champion when John Cena faced you, because people didn't care about you. They wanted to see The Rock and John Cena. So that's exactly what he should have said. And he also should say to The Miz, I may have taken a lot longer to get here, but I have in one single night got a bigger reaction than you have in your entire career. And, he should also bring up, I didn't lose to a 55-year-old rap singer at WrestleMania. I didn't lose to, you could plug in a ton of celebrities that have just completely demolished The Miz, embarrassed The Miz. You could go down a list. If LA Knight does his homework, he could embarrass The Miz on the mic. And he should. So, all right. Let's see. We got Becky Lynch coming out, Cole hyped her match, the steel cage match at Payback with Trish. And Lynch stood in the ring and said there'd been a lot of talk about who's the best. And said that Lynch said you can break her bones and ligaments, but she will always come back. And she's unstoppable because she always fights, blah, blah, blah. Zoe and Trish came out, and Stratus says it was nice to be in Canada and complained of having to deal with U.S. a-holes. Nice play on words. And Stratus said she would prove she's the greatest of all time when she beats Lynch. Stratus said she's never fought in a steel cage before. Lynch said Stratus looked scared, and Stratus said she was scared and was also scared when she was thrown into the ring for the first time at age 24, but she killed it. The crowd chanted in French again, "What are all these frogs doing?" Which is obviously not what they were chanting. They were chanting something much worse. And I'll leave you to Google that. So we did get Lynch announcing she would be facing Stark in a Falls Count Anywhere match next week on Raw. And that was it. It was a rough segment. It was not fun. Trish was all over the place. As Trish has never been known for great promos. Like, that's just never been Trish's thing. And it certainly showed here. People are done with this. They've been done with this. When they didn't put them on SummerSlam, people are like, all right, well, it's going to be at least over in Toronto. It wasn't over in Toronto. Now we're in Quebec City. Oh, they're going to be facing each other at Payback. People are done with this. We're ready to move on. It didn't catch fire. It didn't even slowly burn. It was just kind of like, all right, it just doesn't work for some reason. The chemistry's not there. Let's just move on. And then that's all. It doesn't always work. But a Piper Niven video aired, and Carter and Chance made their entrance to the ring. And it was Carter and Chance versus Green and Chelsea Green and Niven. And this match was 1 minute and 35, where Chelsea Green and Piper Niven beat Caden Carter and Katana Chance. And that was it. So, all right. Then we get to the main event here. I know, guys, I'm skipping over some stuff here, but I've got to. So we get Sami and Kevin versus Finn and Damian. And this one ended with Kevin, Cody, and Sami beating Finn, Damian, and Dom, as this did turn into a 6-man tag team match. And, as always, Cody has to be the savior to set up the match and even the odds. And, it was a nice matchup, though. This lasted 14 minutes. And the finish was Cody hitting Dom with Crossroads. Dom stumbled into the corner. Cody tagged in Sami. Owens tagged in before Zayn hit Dom with the haluva kick. And then Owens followed up with a stunner before pinning Dom to win for his team. So, a very crowd-pleasing finish. A very, kind of, especially with Dom, right? Like, Dom is the biggest heat draw of the entire group. And for him to take all 3 finishes and lose, it's, I don't think it hurts Dom that much, but it's not something you want to do that much with your top heel. And, no complaints here. The match was really good. And it did seem like Kevin Owens was injured after the match again. It seemed like his rib was injured. He couldn't hold up his other title. The guys were talking to him. The referee was talking to him. You could see that he was actually, something wasn't right. And we'll have to see what develops from that. But hopefully it's nothing serious. And, we got a nice victory here. Nothing earth-shattering. Nothing that would, set the world on fire. But a nice kind of just, you get sent home happy feeling. So, all right. I think I'll end it there with the Raw review, and let's just dive into the emails, guys. No rest for the weary here. We're going to dive into those emails, and let's see here. We're going to start with the patrons. I want to make sure, guys, if I don't get to your email or your voicemail, I do apologize. It's not something I normally do, but let's see here. I'm going into Patreon, diving into who do I want to go to first? Let's go to Charlie Furman. And he says, hey, Matt, let me talk to you. This is Charlie from Milwaukee. Just sending a reminder about possibly coming on the week of October 27th. Yes, he will be, guys. We will have Charlie on if we can all align our schedules. Also, for everyone, what are some of the best matches you have seen at either a pay-per-view, a show, or a pay-per-view?
For me, it's Hogan versus The Rock at WrestleMania 18, the triple threat match with Triple H, Shawn, and Benoit at WrestleMania 20, CM Punk versus John Cena at Money in the Bank. I believe that was 2011. And Bret Hart versus Shawn, Survivor Series 97. I mean, boy, yeah, these are... this can open up a wide range of conversation and debates. So that's a heck of a question. For me, Shawn Michaels and Taker, WrestleMania 25, Shawn Michaels and Taker, first Hell in a Cell 97. Those are the top ones for me. Obviously, any Rock Austin WrestleMania will do as well. I know I'm going for the low-hanging fruit, but they are legendary matches for a reason. All right. Thank you, Charlie. Let's get to Tom. Let's see. Wait, let me make sure I got the name here. Tom Franco. And he says, "Hey, Matt, I attended Raw live in person from the Videotron Center in Quebec City this week. The atmosphere was a lot better than I expected, mainly due to understanding that Quebec City is a good 3 hours from Montreal, and it isn't really a huge market for wrestling. Nonetheless, the crowd was definitely full of old school fans and new ones who were up to date with the current product. Popping hard for LA Knight and Chad Gable. Awesome. The highlight of the night was definitely the Kevin Owens return, and he got a huge ovation from the crowd. My friend and I really both enjoyed the show, but I found the main event segment was way too predictable, even if it was fun being there live. I really hope that after the Payback, they can chill in the Judgment Day versus KO, Sami, and Kevin main events combinations and give other talent a shot. That's all for me. We'll talk more. Thomas will be joining me for the weekend review this week, so he'll give us a much more in-depth review of what it was like to be there live on Raw, and of course touch on some SmackDown items. But it was predictable. But what would you have rather had that happen or the Judgment Day win? I mean, what would have been your way to end the show that was realistic, that was better than the way WWE did it? See, that's the thing, right? So. This is where, again, predictability can be bad, but if you're there in person, I know that every time you're in person, and this is just a habit of being a fan, you hope you're there when something special happens. A big return, a big turn, a big swerve, a big title change, a big cash in. Everybody that goes to a live event always has those hopes or slight expectations, and when something's predictable, you're like, oh, that's it? There's got to be something else. That's just the way of a fan. And I'm guilty of it too. So, all right. Well, Thomas, I'm not trying to cut you off here, I guess, via email, but trying to create more volume here than depth of conversation when it comes to getting everyone in here. So we will talk soon, buddy. And who do we want to go to next? Let's go to DJ. Guys, I'm hitting all the patrons here. If you're noticing, patrons get priority. DJ says, "Hello, AEW and WWE podcast world. DJ Kuzmo back at it again in your mailbag show. He wants to preface this by saying, Matt, have a great time in your vacation. Try to enjoy the time off from work. I'll be brief here with the email. Anyway, 2 unthinkable things have happened this past Monday Night Raw. Now I know that Chad won via countout and Gunther retained the championship, but is it impossible after Gunther surpasses the Honky Tonks record that Chad can actually pin Gunther and become the new IC champion? Because the booking of Chad and the Alpha Academy has been good for the past couple of weeks. I don't think that's going to happen. I really don't. And I don't think Gunther's going to beat the Honky Tonks record, which he 100% will, and then immediately drop it. That would signal to the fans that, oh, well, we just wanted to get him past the finish line, and now that he can drop it instantly. No, I think they want to make this record a little bit longer than the Honky Tonks by several months. I think that they're going to make this a lot longer than the Honky Tonks, and also have him drop it to a guy that can actually take it and be a realistic workhorse for them. Now, Chad, here's the thing. I'm not trying to disrespect Chad. I think, like you do, that most of the fans, or most of us as fans, believe that he could carry the belt and carry it with honor and carry it with respect and add value to the belt. No doubt about it. But here's the problem. Here's what's standing in our way. Management, perception, the idea that the characters should be bigger than life, larger than life characters. And Chad, unfortunately, remember all the Shorty G stuff? how many comedy segments he's been in. Now, a lot of this was under the Vince McMahon regime, but some of it was under the Triple H regime. And if Vince, depending on his influence, is still there, that doesn't help Chad. And so I just think it's not fan standing in the way of Chad being a believable, respectable guy to take the belt off Gunther. It's management, and it's the company. That's the problem. All right, 2. This will probably be the only time that I will ever mention his name, and that is none other than Akira Tozawa. He finally won a match on Monday night in a long time. To me, this was hilarious and exciting because he pinned The Miz via the most devastating finish in all of WWE, the roll-up. That's true. Anyway, this probably doesn't mean much for Tozawa's singles push since the 24/7 championship doesn't exist anymore, but this match goes to show that miracles do happen and anyone can pin The Miz. I can't wait to see this LA Knight versus The Miz feud finally become a match, hopefully at Payback next week. That's all for Matt. Or that's all for now. This is DJ Kuzma signing off. All right, so yeah, this is going to be a fun match with LA Knight and The Miz. I actually enjoy this. We all know LA Knight's coming out on top. It would make no sense otherwise. But for Akira Tozawa, yeah, there is absolutely zero chance this is going to push him into any other stratosphere. I mean, he lives unfortunately in the low card, the lower to mid card, and he's just going to sit there, right? Like, he is enhancement talent. He is a comedy segment. He's a comedy material at times. He's not going to be using this. WWE is not using this as a launch pad. It's just not happening, right? Especially the way he won, the way he's perceived. It's not happening. But all right, let's get to Rocky T. And he says, I'll keep it short. Just got done watching SmackDown as Edge was posing for the crowd. It hit me. This is not his last match. This is his last match in Toronto. The first match ever with Sheamus was the star of his farewell tour. And a real quick answer to Charlie's question from last week: name an event you missed out on because of life or whatever. Mine was Edge's return in 2020 in my backyard of Houston, Texas. Yeah, that one stings, Rocky. That one stings. Mine do as well. And I feel the pain. But as far as your observation that this is his last match in Toronto and that this is the start of his farewell tour, I believe that too. Now, reports are coming out from The Torch and others that Edge did make a pitch to WWE for how to keep him under contract, and WWE refused. Now, whatever those terms and conditions are, we have no idea. We are still left to speculate. But that is what's coming out. Now, are these reports... Not that The Torch is falsely reporting anything on purpose. I think they're a trustworthy source generally, but I do wonder if WWE is putting this information out there to have the journalists gobble it up, spit it back out to the audience, and make them believe, hey, he's really gone. AEW could pick him up, when in reality they've secretly signed him behind the scenes. He's going to be back, and he could be back towards the end of the year to finish his career, maybe one match at the Rumble and a final one at WrestleMania, hopefully against John Cena. But yeah, there's a lot of theories out there, and he really could go to AEW. You know what? If they haven't signed him, I've been against him finishing his career in AEW, but I've not put it past me to say, okay, he could be in AEW to team with Christian Cage. Of course, the history there, it'd be a fun moment. The crowd would lose it. But let's be honest. Edge with WrestleMania 40 on the horizon, you think he wants to call it a career in AEW? No. I mean, if he wants to write his own ending, he will write his own ending in WWE. I know that AEW is another wrestling promotion, but it's not that's not Edge's home. All right. So, thank you, Rocky. And let's get to Diego from Honduras, Central America. Says, let me talk to you. First of all, I want to thank you for taking the time to make the podcast even when you're on vacation. As a father myself, I can't imagine how difficult it is for you to pull it off. Keep up the good work, and I hope you and your family are having a good time. Yeah, we are, and I appreciate that. It's, I got to say, this is after, I'm doing this after the kids go to bed, right? Like, I'm sitting in my car. It's the only quiet place I can do it. I don't want to do it in the house and then have the kids wake up or whatever. I need my own little space. So I'm sitting in my vehicle doing this. No, it's all good. Now, I wanted to share with you a picture that was uploaded a few days ago from promoter that claimed that Rikishi will be at a special guest referee at Payback. Rikishi has responded to that saying it was a promoter's mistake, but everyone is saying that it may be a spoiler for a Jimmy versus Jay match at Payback. What do you think? Yeah, I've seen this. I know that Twitter account well. I would say that that's a mistake. I would say it's a mistake because I don't think they're going to get to Jimmy Jay that quickly. And I don't even know if there's actual interest in seeing a Jimmy versus Jay match, to be totally honest. It is interesting. And the fact that Jimmy is coming back on SmackDown this week and he was announced to be is not crazy. And also, you did have Paul Heyman say he has a random source that told him Jimmy would be there. Well, the father of Jimmy is Rikishi. And do you think Rikishi would be a source that Paul Heyman wouldn't even name? Yes. So, you know what? While I say no, I may have just convinced myself that it's not impossible. So I'm leaning no. My final answer is no, this is a mistake. But there is evidence that I just laid out to the contrary. So we will find out, I guess, in short order. But I will say, too, well, Jay said he quit WWE and he's back within 2 weeks, then, that's not exactly sticking to your word. All right. Let's get to our next one here. Rebecca. And Rebecca says, hope you're having a great vacation. So unfortunately or fortunately, as it goes with these things, I'm not that Rebecca Stewart. Okay. Yeah, I had a feeling you weren't. Okay, but you got to ask. You got to ask because you just never know. You just never know, right? If those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, I had a girlfriend in high school and middle school that her name was your name, and I just wanted to make sure it's not really you, and it's not. Okay. All right, moving on. Stewart is actually my previous married name, and thank you for bringing to my attention that my email didn't actually change when I thought it did, so I'm glad you brought it up. I think it's changed now. Yes, I do see it. It's changed now. I won't name it, but yeah. It's not your former name anymore. Stewart is not the name I see, so that's good. I'm glad I could correct that for you. So I'm enjoying the new storylines that now that everything is not about the bloodline, and honestly, I kind of like that they're backing off on Cody a bit. I can only handle so much of getting in my feelings, monologues. I watched the documentary and it helped me to understand the character evolution a bit, but it didn't really make me like him anymore. Yeah, I haven't watched the documentary, to be fair. I haven't done that yet, and I don't think it, like you said, I don't think it's going to make me like his character anymore, because it could make me understand it more, but it doesn't mean it's going to just by understanding it make me like it more. It may, in fact, have the opposite effect for me. But, okay. It looks like Seth is going to take a much-needed medical break. I can't really see him dropping the belt to Shinsuke, though. It's nice that they're foreshadowing it. It just feels better than him just losing. Yeah, he could take a break. The question is, though, if he takes a break but doesn't drop it to Shinsuke, that means we now have no champion on Raw again, depending on how long this injury is going to take to heal, if he decides to go forward with it. My guess is the reason that he has been putting this injury off is because he knows that if it gets repaired the way it needs to be with surgery, that it's going to take a significant chunk away from him. And as we crawl towards WrestleMania on the horizon, he may not want to do that right now. And he definitely want to be a part of WrestleMania 40. So again, WrestleMania is 7 months and change away. And, would he be able to get into the ring with that recovery time? I mean, I don't know. Time's the factor here. So I don't know what they're going to do here, but that was a hell of an interesting development with Shinsuke and Seth. I really enjoyed that. It made you really think as a fan. And Paul Heyman, I love this guy. He's genius. It's just a normal thing, but I feel like now he's not that he's not shaving. He needs to grow his ponytail again and broadcast his promos from a van down by the river. What do you see him doing now? Sticking with the unhinged tribal chief? If he moves someplace else, the bloodline story has been told. if he moves someplace else once the bloodline story has been told, where could you picture that being? Just curious. Well, yeah, I don't think he's going to grow his ponytail out again. As hilarious as that would be kind of disturbing, given his hairline. I think he is a perfect haircut, given the limited amount of hair that he has. And this is coming from somebody that, at the age of 25, started losing my hair. It was just, from what I understand, the genetics of your hair come from your mother's father. So that unfortunately was a detriment to me. But so coming from the hair loss community, I can speak for myself and probably for many in saying that he is doing what he needs to do to maximize his hair. I don't think growing it out would help. But maybe he'll bring back the giant cell phone again, right? From the 1995, cell phone, the cell phones that were available at that time, right? But who does he go to? Who does Paul Heyman go to once the bloodline's done? That's a heck of a question. Here's the thing, though. I don't think the bloodline's even close to done. And I know that right now we're taking a pause. I know right now people are kind of exhausted of it, kind of burned from it, need a break, need a long break, actually. And I understand that, and I'm with you, 100%. But the bloodline story has only been, I think, half told. And I continue to say this. If The Rock comes back, they're going to play out more of the heel bloodline group. Jimmy's going to be there, Solo's going to be there. And eventually, what they're going to do for the other half is tell a babyface reunion. Because eventually Solo's going to turn on Roman. Jimmy may or may not be there. And I think that you have a whole nother story to tell with the bloodline reuniting as a babyface group. Jimmy and Jay men fences, Solo, Jimmy and Jay men fences, and then eventually they all men fences to ward off whatever massive heel group is running the show at that point. Now, when does that happen? Maybe late 24, maybe probably into 25. If they want to tell that story, they could go quicker than that, but there is a whole other side to this bloodline story of being a full-out babyface group. And I think the crowd, once that happens, if they do this right, the crowd is going to explode for a bloodline reuniting. They just will. It's going to take time because you want the distance and the time from the storyline to be significant. So it's not going to be right away, but I think it will happen. And there's a whole storyline to tell there, a whole story to tell. That said, who does Paul Heyman, though, in the interim, if the bloodline takes a long break, who does he mess with? Who does he manage? I don't know if he needs to manage anyone. I really don't. I think, I don't think he could or really needs to manage anyone right now. I think you could honestly stick him on commentary. I don't think they will, but they could, and I'd love that. That's actually what I would do with him, is put him on commentary. If you're going to have a long bloodline pause, stick him on commentary. That's what I would do. All right, Kyle, Detroit Kyle. First, I want to point out that we had 0 Cody entrances with the Woe on Raw this week. Yes, I did notice that. And Seth didn't get a chance to have a sing-along either. Well, he did. In his promo, he had the crowd sing his song without actually coming out. In his promo, he kind of gave the crowd a platform to sing his song. But yeah, I would agree that the Cody full-out entrance didn't happen. I'm sure the crowd was, and I'll have to ask Thomas that question. Was that a big disappointment to you? Was the crowd pissed off? How did they feel about that? But to you said it's a nice breath of fresh air. It's just too bad that the show had to end with the same main event we've been seeing for the last 2 months, which is some form of Judgment Day versus the top babyfaces of KO, Sami, and Seth. WWE needs to do more with their titles. What do I mean by that is we need more people competing for the titles instead of just seeing the same names feud over with people in feuds over and over again. They need to be, WWE seems to be more worried about the long title reign of Roman with big numbers rather than telling good stories with building new stars. They have so much underutilized talent. Yeah, no question. Yeah, I mean, the fact that Roman Reigns, as I've said, this is a prime example, but it's worth mentioning again. Roman Reigns has not defended his title against anyone outside the bloodline since April 2nd, whatever WrestleMania was, night 2. We are now coming up on September 2nd. Okay, we're about a week and change away from that as I record this. So that means that it had been 5 months since Roman Reigns defended his belt against anyone else. other than, the internal bloodline. Now, Seth Rollins, on the other hand, is feuding against kind of the same group, and it feels like he needs to move outside that group. And there's certainly a complaint to be made here, especially on the Roman Reigns side of things, that they need to move outside the bloodline. And here's the most frustrating part about it. And actually, you could extend this logic to Rhea Ripley too, with Rhea Ripley being a dominant women's champion without really doing anything except beating underutilized talent, and more worried about what the men are doing in the group than what she's doing. But the logic is, why isn't anyone talking about their belts? Like, why aren't we getting promos or any kind of segments from the men and women on the respective brands talking about the Undisputed Championship on SmackDown or on Raw? The guys, competing or talking about one day becoming world champion, or putting their name at least in the minds of fans of maybe they'll get involved in this or that. And same for the women, especially the WWE Women's World title that Rhea's holding, that is supposed to be the counterpart to Seth's men's world title. None of the women are talking about it. I mean, nobody. Okay, Raquel Rodriguez is, but because she was injured by Rhea is the only reason she's able to get a shot here. But why aren't we hearing about it? They're just supposed to be these dominant champions, and they are, I guess, but we're not hearing about how important they are to the other stars in their promos and everything else. They're so just narrowly focused on one or two select people, but we aren't hearing what it means for the other people involved. They don't have to be in title matches, but have them talk about it. It's just not even being mentioned. It's like it's invisible to everyone else on the roster. All right. Let's go. Thanks, Kyle. Let's go where are we going here? We're going to Mason. He says, let me talk to you. So I feel like whenever we say something is going to happen, it doesn't happen, because we talked about LA Knight winning Money in the Bank, and now Edge's retirement match with someone attacking him, and it didn't happen. So yeah. Next, the Cora Jade report. She did not appear on the show, and she's not done. She's done nothing since quitting NXT. And this, and last week, this question: what do you think about the Judgment Day in NXT? That's all. And bye. Well, Judgment Day in NXT, that just shows you that they feel NXT needs that star power. That's kind of a referendum on where they view NXT. But also you could say, well, they're there to help build the new talent that are there. Fine. Silver lining. But also, I don't believe that was Edge's retirement match. I still don't believe that. I don't. And as far as LA Knight winning Money in the Bank, that's fine. LA Knight winning Money in the Bank is maybe not the path that we wanted. They clearly had, prior to Money in the Bank, a whole story they wanted to tell with Finn and Damian that they didn't want to break up because of the rise of the Yeah movement with LA Knight. They said, okay, this may be a thing. There's more than one way to skin a cat. We'll get LA Knight to the place that they want him to go if they continue to support him. And we're not going to screw up the story with Finn and Damian here. We got a whole thing that we want to do, and I respect that. I do. So, all right. Where else are we going here? Let's see. I think we've got another source here. Let's see. Nope. So Detroit Kyle, you sent me 2 emails on 2 different addresses. All right. That means, do I dare go to voicemails? I'll do it really quickly here. So let's do it.
WWE Podcast World. This is DJ Kuzmo back at it again on your Mailbag show. Record you live on a Wednesday morning. And before we get to the Veer Mahan Report, I got to give a shout out to my guys down at the Football Function Podcast. Michael Ritter, Terry, thank you guys for having me. This was my first time on their podcast as I was talking about my New York Football Giants as we get ready for the upcoming NFL season. And we just talked about what my expectations for this football team. So if you get a chance to listen to that episode, also Detroit Kyle was on that episode talking about his Detroit Lions, a great podcast platform that Michael Ritter and Terry have with the Football Function Podcast. So get in tune, start listening, subscribe to Patreon for those guys, and enjoy the great content down at the Football Function Podcast. Now, let's get to your favorite show to come in every single week on the Mailbag, and we're talking about the Veer Mahan Report. Now, the Veer Mahan Report took place this past Monday night on Monday Night Raw, live from Quebec City, Canada, home of Sami Zayn. But we did not get an appearance of the Indishir. We did not get an appearance of my guy, Veer Mahan. We did not get an appearance of Sangha, and we did not get an appearance of the modern-day Maharaja Jinder Mahal. But we are still gearing for Friday, September 8th, Superstar Spectacle in India. My guys are still promoting. My guys will hopefully be on the card. And what a card it would be, because breaking news, John Cena, that's right, John Cena is going to be at WWE Superstar Spectacle. I don't know if he's going to be in a match. It will be an awesome fantasy booking to have him in a six-man tag match with him and Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn against my guys, the Indishir of Veer Mahan, Sangha, and why not the modern-day Maharaja Jinder Mahal in a six-man tag team match to the main event in their hometown of India. It should be a great show. But if that doesn't happen, it is what it is. But also, we do have a new tag team in the Monday Night Raw tag team division by the name of Mac Riddle. It sounds like a McDonald's rib sandwich, but whatever the case may be, I want to see that these guys go up as hopefully against Drew McIntyre and Matt Riddle once they end this year finally return to Monday Night Raw. But with that being said, this is your guy DJ Kuzmo. Have a blessed week. Be kind to one another. Stay safe, my friends, and peace.
Hey DJ, Football Function I plugged earlier in the show. I'd really recommend everyone check out Football Function, and thanks for the Veer Mahan Report. I really do believe that they are on their way back very soon. I mean, the tag team division needs them. They need them badly, and I think they could win. I still believe they will be the ones to eventually take the belts off of Kevin and Sami if they because of how dominant they've been, even in the undercard, and really how well Jinder Mahal's done to support them on the mic, and promos. I think that they are a team that's on a platform, on a trajectory to take the belts off Kevin and Sami. I really do believe that. And then you could take Kevin and Sami and have them go their separate ways, or still be a tag team. But there's stories to tell with Kevin and Sami too, that on the singles trajectory, that if one of them turns heel, you could have them face Seth Rollins. Kevin and Sami, specifically Kevin turning heel, which he's done many times in his career to challenge Seth Rollins is a possibility down the line, of course. But all right, well, not trying to rocket through these, but thanks so much, DJ. Let's get to our next one.
Alex, the French guy here, your current European champion, sent a message last week about Edge match in Toronto. I think it was not his last match, but just his last match in Toronto. I predict that, as you guys think, he will retire at WrestleMania. And, we'll call it a day because, it all makes sense. WrestleMania is the perfect time to do it. And, about this week Raw, I find it very disappointment about the Judgement Day versus Cody Rhodes, Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. I find the storyline begins to be a little bit stale, as I predicted last week. However, on Raw, what a segment from Shinsuke Nakamura. Okay, the guy is not speaking English, but it is absolutely badass. It is exactly what you want to see in a heel. This is how you build storyline. Like, he took the element of Seth Rollins back, his tattoo and everything. That is a Shinsuke Nakamura I want to see. I predict he's not going to win, but that is what I want to see from Shinsuke Nakamura. And that's it for this week, guys. see you.
All right, Axel, it seems like we're on the same wavelength here, and you're right. That is exactly what we needed to see from Shinsuke, something that they should have done a long time ago with him. And I don't know why they didn't. Maybe they thought it would come across stupid with subtitles or whatever. But guess what? They've done it. We've watched enough TV in our lives. If you're a human being that's watched television, subtitles aren't the worst thing in the world. I believe even, if I'm not mistaken, I didn't see it, but Squid Games, that extremely popular, kind of graphic adult game that blew up on I believe Netflix, obviously not a real game, but a TV show that blew up, had subtitles because it was originally done in a different language. So subtitles aren't new to us, and they can be very effective. Is it something you want to constantly do throughout a whole movie? No, I don't want to read subtitles. I'm there, ideally to listen and understand without having to read, but it can be very effective, especially when the sentences are short bursts and they're easy to understand and they're well thought out. It really, again, makes you wish that Shinsuke, with given how good he delivered this, would actually deliver it in English. It is a shame, but this is exactly what you needed to do with Shinsuke. I absolutely loved it. I loved it. All right. Final voicemail here and we'll wrap it up.
Hey, man, it's Justin from Maryland. I saw that you hadn't posted a mailbag yet, so hopefully I'm not too late. I know I'm late as far as calling in, but hopefully I made it in time since you said that things will be a little late. So just got a couple of things I want to talk about. First, I enjoyed the Gunther and Gable match. I was a little like, I want to say, I was just blindsided by the way that Gable acted after he won by countout, because by countout you don't win the title. So he was just like all happy like he won. But then I heard that was Gunther's first loss, like in any way on the main roster. So I guess it makes sense. And then I guess he knew that since he won by countout that he was going to get another shot. So it looks like they'll be going for a rematch at Payback. I'm hoping that that they have like some type of stipulation where you can only win by pinfall or submission, because I think that would fit the match. But other than that, it was a good match. I'm just looking to see like who can take the title off of Gunther at this point. I thought it was going to be Drew, but it's obviously not going to be. So it just will be interesting to see who takes the title off of him, because I really don't see anybody on the main roster right now who's even like worthy of, beating him. Next, so the SmackDown Tag Division. So I'm enjoying the Street Profits and the new look. I definitely want to see them go after the tag titles. It's a shame that there's one undisputed championship, so there's one title for two brands. And then it's like on the SmackDown side, you don't really have that many credible tag teams. I mean, you got LWO, you got the Brawling Brutes, and you got, I'm missing somebody else. But I feel like all those, like, all the teams I just named, they're more like trios. So with Lashley, it'll be fine for them to go against them. But I want to see them, like, go against the New Day again. I feel like that would be a good feud with their whole changed character. And then I feel like that they should definitely go after the tag titles, because it seems like KO and Sami, they're holding it. It's a shame to say that they're holding the titles hostage right now, but that's just what it feels like to me. So hopefully the Street Profits go after the title at some point. Finally, where do you think they're going to go with the women's title match at Payback with Io Sky? Do you think they'll do a three-way with Charlotte and Bianca, or just against Charlotte? Because I think Bianca got written off TV, or she was injured. So, and we haven't seen Asuka.
All right, Justin, had to get to you. First of all, who can beat Gunther? I don't think that person exists on the Raw roster right now. Again, from a WWE management perspective, the fans, I think, would like Chad Gable to win. And I think he's a credible dude, a credible athlete, and continues to show every time he's in a big spot or even gets a small opportunity, he continues to shine. And I think he's more than adequate to beat Gunther, at least from, again, a fan's perspective. That said, I do like Gunther completely destroying people and doing it in a way that his character doesn't need him to cheat to win. And I love that about a heel that doesn't need to cheat to win every time, or need cronies, or, brass knucks, or blow. So I don't think that person exists right now. I really don't, at least as it's currently constituted. Now, as far as the women's division on SmackDown, how they're going to go, you're right. I think it's going to be a triple threat. That's the way I think they're going right now with Io Sky, Charlotte, and Bianca. I mean, I just, not to give you a short answer, but I think that's what they're doing. I really do. I have my doubts on anything else, at least as it pertains right now. And honestly, we'll find out probably this Friday. We'll find out in a couple of days, and we'll find out who John Cena is probably going to face, and we'll find out about the women's division. So, all right, guys, as it seems like I'm rushing because I have to hit the hay here. It's getting late, but I wanted to pop on. Show's a lot longer than I thought. You guys keep me, but hey, I love this. And I'll be back in my normal studio this Sunday. So I'll continue to post the other shows that come in. A little bit of a weird hybrid schedule this week, but as they come in, it may not be the exact schedule that you're used to, but I'll be back normally posting stuff by Saturday, Sunday. Things should get back to normal, and I'll have a co-host on the Week in Review. So continue to go ad-free, guys. Please go ad-free at patreon.com if you want to get rid of the ads, and Apple Podcasts, WWEpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook. Our Facebook page nearly has 10,000 followers now, so that's a cool thing. Hey, enjoy the rest of your night, day, morning, and I'll be talking to you guys real soon. Take care.
All right, it's time to give a huge shout out to the sponsor of today's episode, happyhippo.com. So if you guys haven't checked this out, you got to go to happyhippo.com because they have some of the highest quality kratom products that I've ever come across. And if you guys aren't familiar with what kratom is, it's an herbal substance that has many different uses, everything from a balanced mind to energy. It can help you relax. And my wife and I, over the last couple of weeks, have tried out some of their products. And I have to say, it has improved her sleep specifically. She's very anxious and her mind runs at night, and it has helped her fall asleep and stay asleep. She actually was using one of the powders that comes in a pouch from Happy Hippo, and just dropped it into her water, and off she went, and she was just she was very happy. Let me just put it that way. And so myself, during the workday, if you guys didn't know, I have a big boy job. I work in contract management, and I need that balance. I need the energy during the day, and they have something called Hyper Hippo and an energy shot. And those energy shots come in those little tiny bottles. You guys are familiar with it from other brands that use that type of packaging, but there's nothing like this, all right? This energy shot, I take it, easy to take, and within minutes, I feel the effects. There's no massive crash after I take it either, which is a huge deal, right? How many energy drinks have you taken and coffee have you drank throughout the day that just leads to the massive crash? Well, this doesn't, and it's an all-natural herb. And I'm telling you right now, it will help you get through your day. It can help you relax, depending on the type of product you're looking for. Happy Hippo delivers. And guess what? Right now, if you have an order of 200 or more, you can get free next day FedEx shipping. And also, their stuff tastes great. So check out happyhippo.com. Support the WWE podcast and Happy Hippo. And do yourself a favor as well, guys. I'm telling you right now, if it can help my wife go to sleep, for somebody as anxious as she is, and as somebody that needs as much energy as I do during the day to do this podcast and to do my job during the day.
And right now, you can save 15% on your entire order by using promo code WWE15. That's right, WWE15 will get you 15% off of your entire order. And starting August 28th, they are having their largest sale of the year on their Hyper Hippo product, 40% off. So you'll definitely want to check them out then. But anytime you can use WWE15 as your promo code to get 15% off your entire order.
Check out happyhippo.com, whether you're trying to relax or whether you need energy or balance during the day. happyhippo.com.